Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome back to the daily readings of Srila Prabhupada's books. Here in the live studios in Radha Lane, ISKCON Houston. We're going to go right into it. We're late. So we're going to go right into the prayer that we offer before we read the Bhagavatam to get us into the proper consciousness. Srimad-Bhagavatam Mahima Stotram from the Sri Krishna Lila Stava, written by Srila Sanatan Goswami. And it goes like this. Sarva Shastabdipiyusha Sarva Vedaika Satpala Sarva Siddhanta Ratnadya Sarva Lokaika Drikprada. O nectar from the ocean of all scriptures, singular fruit of all the Vedas, rich mine of the precious gems of all conclusive truths, you are the only giver of sight to all the worlds. Sarva Bhagavata Prana Srimad-Bhagavata Prabho Kalidwan Duditaditya Shri Krishna Parivartita. O life air of all the Supreme Lord's devotees, O Master Srimad-Bhagavatam, you are the sun risen in the darkness of Kali. You are the exact image of Sri Krishna. Paramananda Pataya Prema Varshakshadayate Sarvada Sarvasavyaya Shri Krishnaya Namostume. I bow down to you, who are supremely blissful to read. Your every syllable pours down a flood of prema. You can always be served by everyone. You are Sri Krishna himself. Madekabando Matsangin Madguro Man Mahadana Man Nistad Madagya Mad Ananda Namostute. My only friend, my constant companion, my spiritual master, my great wealth, my savior, my good fortune, my source of ecstasy, I bow down to you. Asadu Saduta Dayin Atini Chuchita Kara Hanamunchakada Chinmam Premnarit Kundayospura. O bestower of saintliness to the unsaintly, O exalter of the most fallen, please never leave me. Always appear in my heart and my voice with pure love. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 So we're in the middle of the pastime of the churning of the milk ocean. Lord Vishnu has given the demigods the advice to make a truce with the demons and churn the ocean of milk to get nectar, which will make them immortal. Well, not really immortal, but long-lived. And we're at the stage now, they finally brought the Mandara mountain and they started churning, and the Lord appeared. Hare Krishna. What's your name?
Darinka.
Darinka.
Yes.
Nice name, Hare Krishna. Welcome.
Thank you.
I take it you're her friend.
Yes.
Okay. Hare Krishna. And the Lord gave instructions that when you put all the herbs and so many things in the ocean and churn it, first it's going to come out some poison. So now we're at the chapter that Lord Shiva saves the universe by drinking poison. He also gave the demigods the instruction not to be attached to, because all kinds of things are going to be produced from the ocean when it was churned. And he said you shouldn't be attached to anything. Whatever the demons want, just let them take it. Don't be attached. Don't fight like the Democrats and the Republicans. Okay. Chapter 7. Beginning with text 6. O son of the Pandu dynasty, when Mandara mountain was thus being used as a churning rod in the ocean of milk, it had no support, and therefore, although held by the strong hands of the demigods and demons, it sank into the water. Text 7. Because the mountain had been sunk by the strength of providence, the demigods and demons were disappointed, and their faces seemed to shrivel. Text 8. Seeing the situation that had been created by the will of the Supreme, the unlimited powerful Lord, whose determination is infallible, took the wonderful shape of a tortoise, entered the water, and lifted the great Mandara mountain. Purport. Here is evidence that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the supreme controller of everything. As we have previously described, there are two classes of men, the demons and the demigods, but neither of them are supremely powerful. Everyone has experienced that hindrances are imposed upon us by the supreme power. The demons regard these hindrances as mere accidents or chance, but devotees accept them to be acts of the supreme ruler. When faced with hindrances, therefore, devotees pray to the Lord, Tattenu kampam susamikshimano bunjana evatma kritam pipakam. Devotees endure hindrances, accepting them to be caused by the Supreme Personality of Godhead and regarding them as benedictions. Demons, however, being unable to understand the Supreme Controller, regard such hindrances as accidental. Here, of course, the Supreme Personality of Godhead was present personally. It was by His will that there were hindrances, and by His will those hindrances were removed. The Lord appeared as a tortoise to support the great mountain. Chitir iha viplu tare tavatishtate prishte. The Lord held the great mountain on His back. Keshavadrita, Kurma, Sharira, Jaya Jagadisha, Hare. Dangers can be created by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and they can also be removed by Him. This is known to devotees, but demons cannot understand it. Text 9. When the demigods and demons saw that Mandara mountain had been lifted, they were enlivened and encouraged to begin churning again. The mountain rested on the back of the great tortoise, which extended for 800,000 miles like a large island. Text 10. O king, when the demigods and demons, by the strength of their arms, rotated Mandara mountain on the back of the extraordinary tortoise, the tortoise accepted the rolling of the mountain as a means of scratching his body, and thus he felt a pleasing sensation. You know, sometimes you got to get back scratched, right? Can you scratch my back? Over here. Yeah, over there. Look. Purport. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is always the unlimited. Although the Supreme Personality of Godhead in His body as a tortoise held on His back the largest of mountains, Mandara Parvata, he did not feel any inconvenience. On the contrary, he apparently felt some itching, and thus the rotation of the mountain was certainly very pleasing. Text 11. Thereafter, Lord Vishnu entered the demons as the quality of passion, the demigods as the quality of goodness, and Vasuki as the quality of ignorance, to encourage them and increase their various types of strength and energy. Purport. Everyone in the material world is under the different modes of material nature. There were 3 different parties in the churning of Mandara mountain: the demigods, who were in the mode of goodness, the demons, who were in the mode of passion, and the snake Vasuki, who was in the mode of ignorance. Since they were all becoming tired, Vasuki so much so that he was almost going to die, Lord Vishnu, to encourage them to continue the work of churning the ocean, entered into them according to their respective modes of nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance. Text 12. Manifesting himself with thousands of hands, the Lord then appeared on the summit of Mandara mountain, like another great mountain, and held Mandara mountain with one hand. In the upper planetary systems, Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, along with Indra, king of heaven, and other demigods, offered prayers to the Lord and showered flowers upon him. Purport. To balance Mandara mountain while it was being pulled from both sides, the Lord himself appeared on its summit like another great mountain. Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and King Indra then expanded themselves and showered flowers on the Lord. Text 13. The demigods and demons worked almost madly for the nectar, encouraged by the Lord, who was above and below the mountain, and who had entered the demigods, the demons, Vasuki, and the mountain itself. Because of the strength of the demigods and demons, the ocean of milk was so powerfully agitated that all the alligators in the water were very much perturbed. Nonetheless, the churning of the ocean continued in this way. Text 14. Vasuki had thousands of eyes and mouths. From his mouths he breathed smoke and blazing fire, which affected the demons, headed by Poloma, Kalaya, Bali, and Ilvala. Thus the demons, who appeared like sarala trees burned by a forest fire, gradually became powerless. Remember, they wanted to take at first, Vishnu and the demigods went to the head. The demons said, no, we want to do the head because it's more auspicious than the tail. And now they're getting their just reward. Text 15. Because the demigods were also affected by the blazing breath of Vasuki, their bodily lusters diminished, and their garments, garlands, weapons, and faces were blackened by smoke. However, by the grace of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, clouds appeared on the sea, pouring torrents of rain, and breezes blew, carrying particles of water from the sea waves to give the demigods relief. Text 16. When nectar did not come from the ocean of milk, despite so much endeavor by the best of the demigods and demons, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Ajita, personally began to churn the ocean. Text 17. The Lord appeared like a blackish cloud. He was dressed with yellow garments. His earrings shone on his ears like lightning, and his hair spread over his shoulders. He wore a garland of flowers, and his eyes were pinkish. With his strong, glorious arms, which award fearlessness throughout the universe, he took hold of Vasuki and began churning the ocean, using Mandara mountain as a churning rod. When engaged in this way, the Lord appeared like a beautifully situated mountain named Indranila. Text 18. The fish, sharks, tortoises, and snakes were most agitated and perturbed. The entire ocean became turbulent, and even the large aquatic animals like whales, water elephants, crocodiles, and timingilla-fish, large whales that can swallow small whales, came to the surface. While the ocean was being churned in this way, it first produced a fiercely dangerous poison called hala hala. Text 19. O king, when that uncontrollable poison was forcefully spreading up and down in all directions, all the demigods, along with the Lord himself, approached Lord Shiva, Sadashiva. Feeling unsheltered and very much afraid, they sought shelter of him. Purport. One may question that since the Supreme Personality of Godhead was personally present, why did he accompany all the demigods and people in general to take shelter of Lord Sadashiva instead of intervening himself? In this connection, Srila Madhvacharya warns, Rudrasya Yashishor Taya Swayam Vishnur Misham Bubuhu Na Sanchare Samartopi Vayum Choche Prashantaye. Lord Vishnu was competent to rectify the situation, but in order to give credit to Lord Shiva, who later drank all the poison and kept it in his neck, Lord Shiva did not take action. Lord Vishnu did not take action. Text 20. The demigods observed Lord Shiva sitting on the summit of Kailas hill with his wife Bhavani for the auspicious development of the three worlds. He was being worshipped by great saintly persons desiring liberation. The demigods offered him their obeisances and prayers with great respect. Text 21. The Prajapati said, O greatest of all demigods, Mahadev, supersoul of all living entities, and cause of their happiness and prosperity, we have come to the shelter of your lotus feet. Now please save us from this fiery poison which is spreading all over the three worlds. Purport. Since Lord Shiva is in charge of annihilation, why should he be approached for protection, which is given by Lord Vishnu? Lord Brahma creates and Lord Shiva annihilates, but both Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva are incarnations of Lord Vishnu and are known as Shaktavesha avatars. They are endowed with a special power like that of Lord Vishnu, who is actually all-pervading in their activities. Therefore, whenever prayers for protection are offered to Lord Shiva, actually Lord Vishnu is indicated, for otherwise Lord Shiva is meant for destruction. Lord Shiva is one of the Ishwaras, or controllers, known as Shaktivesh avatars. Therefore he can be addressed as having the qualities of Lord Vishnu. Text 22. O Lord, you are the cause of bondage and liberation of the entire universe because you are its ruler. Those who are advanced in spiritual consciousness surrender unto you, and therefore you are the cause of mitigating their distresses, and you are also the cause of their liberation. We therefore worship your lordship. Purport. Actually, Lord Vishnu maintains and accomplishes all good fortune. If one has to take shelter of Lord Vishnu, why should the demigods take shelter of Lord Shiva? They did so because Lord Vishnu acts through Lord Shiva in the creation of the material world. Lord Shiva acts on behalf of Lord Vishnu. When the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 14.4 that he is the father of all living entities, Aham Bija Pradapita, this refers to actions performed by Lord Vishnu through Lord Shiva. Lord Vishnu is always unattached to material activities, and when material activities are to be performed, Lord Vishnu performs them through Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is therefore worshipped on the level of Lord Vishnu. When Lord Vishnu is untouched by the external energy, he is Lord Vishnu. But when he is in touch with the external energy, he appears in his feature as Lord Shiva. Text 23. O Lord, you are self-effulgent and supreme. You create this material world by your personal energy, and you assume the names Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwara when you act in creation, maintenance, and annihilation. Purport. This prayer is actually offered to Lord Vishnu, the Purusha, who in his incarnations as the Guna avatars assumes the names Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwara. Text 24. You are the cause of all causes, the self-effulgent, inconceivable, impersonal Brahman, which is originally Parabrahman. You manifest various potencies in this cosmic manifestation. Purport. This prayer is offered to the impersonal Brahman, which consists of the effulgent rays of Parabrahman. Parabrahman is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Param Brahma Param Dhamma, Pavitram Paramam Bhavan. When Lord Shiva is worshipped as Parabrahman, the worship is meant for Lord Vishnu. Text 25. O Lord, You are the original source of Vedic literature. You are the original cause of material creation, the life force, the senses, the 5 elements, the 3 modes and the Mahat Tattva. You are eternal time, determination, and the 2 religious systems called truth, Satya, and truthfulness, Rita. You are the shelter of the syllable Om, which consists of 3 letters, A, U, M. Text 26. O Father of all planets, learned scholars know that fire is your mouth, the surface of the globe is your lotus feet, eternal time is your movement, all the directions are your ears, and Varuna, master of the waters, is your tongue. Purport. In the Shruti mantras it is said, Agni Sarva Devataha, fire is the aggregate of all demigods. Agni is the mouth of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is through Agni, or fire, that the Lord accepts all sacrificial oblations. Text 27. O Lord, the sky is your navel, the air is your breathing, the sun is your eyes, and the water is your semen. You are the shelter of all kinds of living entities, high and low. The god of the moon is your mind, and the upper planetary system is your head. Text 28. O Lord, you are the 3 Vedas personified. The 7 seas are your abdomen, and the mountains are your bones. All drugs, creepers, and vegetables are the hairs on your body. The Vedic mantras, like Gayatri, are the 7 layers of your body, and the Vedic religious system is the core of your heart. Text 29. O Lord, the 5 important Vedic mantras are represented by your 5 faces, from which the 38 most celebrated Vedic mantras have been generated. Your lordship, being celebrated as Lord Shiva, is self-illuminated. You are directly situated as the Supreme Truth, known as Paramatma. Purport. The 5 mantras mentioned in this connection are as follows. 1. Purusha. 2. Aghora. 3. Sadyojata. 4. Vamadeva. And 5. Ishana. These 5 mantras are within the category of 38 special Vedic mantras chanted by Lord Shiva, who is therefore celebrated as Shiva or Mahadev. Another reason why Lord Shiva is called Shiva, which means all auspicious, is that he is self-illuminated, exactly like Lord Vishnu, who is the Paramatma. Because Lord Shiva is directly an incarnation of Lord Vishnu, he is situated as Lord Vishnu's direct representative. This fact is corroborated by a Vedic mantra, Patim Vishwasyat Meshwaram Shashvatam Shivam Achutam. The Supersoul is called by many names, of which Maheshwara, Shiva, and Achyuta are especially mentioned. Text 30. O Lord, your shadow is seen in religion, which brings about varieties of irreligious creations. The 3 modes of nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance are your 3 eyes. All the Vedic literatures, which are full of verses, are emanations from you, because their compilers wrote the various scriptures after receiving your glance. 31. O Lord Girisha, since the impersonal Brahman effulgence is transcendental to the material modes of goodness, passion, and ignorance, the various directors of this material world certainly cannot appreciate it or even know where it is. It is not understandable even to Lord Brahma, Lord Vishnu, or the King of Heaven, Mahendra. Purport. The Brahmajyoti is actually the effulgence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As stated in Brahma Samhita 540, Yasya Prabha Prabhavato Jagadanda Koti Koti Shvashesha Vasudhadi Vibhuti Vinam Tad Brahma Nishkalamananta Vashesha Bhutam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is endowed with great power The glowing effulgence of his transcendental form is the impersonal Brahman, which is absolute, complete, and unlimited, and which displays the varieties of countless planets with their different opulences in millions and millions of universes. Although the impersonal feature of the Absolute is an expansion of the rays of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he does not need to take care of the impersonalists who enter the Brahmajyoti. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 9:4, Maya tatamidang sarvam jagat avyakta murtina. In my impersonal feature, I pervade this entire universe. Thus, the avyakta murti, the impersonal feature, is certainly an expansion of Krishna's energy. Mayavadis, who prefer to merge into this Brahman effulgence, worship Lord Shiva. The mantras referred to in text 29 are called Mukhani Panchopanishadas Tavesha. Mayavadis take all these mantras seriously in worshipping Lord Shiva. These mantras are as follows. 1. Tat Purushaya Vidmahe Shantyai. 2. Mahadevaya Dhimahi Vidyayai. 3. Tanno Rudrak Pratishtayai. 4. Prachodayat Drityai. 5. Agorebhyastama. 6. Atagorebhyo Maha. 7. Agorebhyo Raksha. 8. Agroraterebhyo Nidra. 9. Sarvebhyak Sarvabhyadhyai. 10. Sarva Sarvebhyo Mrityave. 11. Namaste Stu Chuda. 12. Rudra Rubedyas Krishna. 13. Vamadevaya Raja. 14. Jeshjaya Swaha. 15. Shreshjaya Ratnyai. 16. Rudaya Kalyanyai. 17. Kalaya Kama. 18. Kala Vikaranaya Sandinyai. 19. Bala Vikaranaya Kriya. 20. Balaya Vridyai. 21. Balachjaya. 22. Pramatanaya Dhartriyai. 23. Sarvabhuta Namanaya Brahmanyai. 24. Manak Shoshinyai. 25. Unmanaya Dwara. 26. Sadyo Jatam Prapajami Siddhai. 27. Sadyo Jataya Vai Namak Rijai. 28. Babe Dityai. 29. Ababe Lakshmyai. 30. Nati Babe Meda. 31. Bhajasvamam Kantyai. 32. Babaswadha. 33. Udbhavaya Prabha. 34. Ishanak Sarvavidyanam Shishinyai. 35. Ishwarak Sarvabhutanam Abhyayada. 36. Ramadhipatir Ramodapatir Brahman Brahmishtadha. 37. Shivome Astu Marichai. 38. Sadashivak Jwalinyai. Hare Krishna. You know, each Veda, there's 4 Vedas, and they all have different purposes in the execution of the original Vedic sacrifices. And it takes 12 years to master one Veda. And what they do in the beginning is, in their brahmachari life, which means from 5 years to 20 years, or 15 or 20 years, the first few years are spent simply memorizing. I mean, I'm chanting like a mlecha, you know, I can't. But when you hear an actual brahmana chant these mantras, they're very, very powerful. And they have to be done exactly properly. But no one can do that anymore, therefore the Vedic sacrifices are no longer recommended in the Kali Yuga. Just to give you an idea, Chaturveda means a person who knows all 4 Vedas. It takes at least 48 years of education to learn them all. The impersonal, luckily for us, we've got just one mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And we get the result of all of them. Lord Chaitanya's mercy. The impersonal Brahman is unknown even to the other directors of the material creation, including Lord Brahma, Lord Indra, and even Lord Vishnu. This does not mean, however, that Lord Vishnu is not omniscient. Lord Vishnu is omniscient, but he does not need to understand what is going on in his all-pervading expansion. Therefore, in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that although everything is an expansion of him, Maya tatimidang sarvam, he does not need to take care of everything. Nachaham tesha vastitaha. Since there are various directors like Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and Indra. Text 32. When annihilation is performed by the flames and sparks emanating from your eyes, the entire creation is burned to ashes. Nonetheless, you do not know how this happens. What then is to be said of your destroying the Daksha Yagya, Tripurasura? Hare Krishna. It's like a carnival event here. What then is to be said of your destroying the Daksha Yagya, Tripurasura, and the Kalakuta poison? Such activities cannot be subject matters for prayers offered to you. Purport. Since Lord Shiva considers the great acts he performs to be very unimportant, what was to be said of counteracting the strong poison produced by the churning? The demigods indirectly prayed that Lord Shiva counteract the Kalakuta poison which was spreading throughout the universe. Text 33. Exalted, self-satisfied persons who preach to the entire world think of your lotus feet constantly within their hearts. However, when persons who do not know your austerity see you moving with Uma, they misunderstand you to be lusty, or when they see you wandering in the crematorium, they mistakenly think that you are ferocious and envious. Certainly, they are shameless. They cannot understand your activities. Purport. Lord Shiva is the topmost Vaishnava. Vaishnavanam yata Shambhu. It is therefore said, Vaishnavera kriya mudra bhigye na bhujaya. Even the most intelligent person cannot understand what a Vaishnava like Lord Shiva is doing or how he is acting. Those who are conquered by lusty desires and anger cannot estimate the glories of Lord Shiva, whose position is always transcendental. In all the activities associated with lusty desires, Lord Shiva is an implement of Atmarama. Ordinary persons, therefore, should not try to understand Lord Shiva and his activities. One who tries to criticize the activities of Lord Shiva is shameless. Text 34. Even personalities like Lord Brahma and other demigods cannot understand your position, for you are beyond the moving and non-moving creation. It is impossible. As far as we are concerned, we are creatures of Lord Brahma's creation under these circumstances. Therefore, we cannot offer you adequate prayers, but as far as our ability allows, we have expressed our feelings. Text 35. O greatest of all rulers, your actual identity is impossible for us to understand. As far as we can see, your presence brings flourishing happiness to everyone. Beyond this, no one can appreciate your activities. We can see this much and nothing more. Purport. When the demigods offered these prayers to Lord Shiva, their inner purpose was to please him, so that he would rectify the disturbing situation created by the hala hala poison. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 7:20, kamais taista rittagyana prapadyante devata. When one worships demigods, this is certainly because of deep-rooted desires he wants fulfilled by the mercy of those demigods. People are generally attached to the worship of demigods for some motive. Text 36. Srila Shukadeva Goswami said, Lord Shiva is always benevolent toward all living entities. When he saw that the living entities were very much disturbed by the poison, which was spreading everywhere, he was very compassionate. Thus he spoke to his eternal consort, Sati, as follows. Lord Shiva said, My dear Bhavani, just see how all these living entities have been placed in danger because of the poison produced from the churning of the ocean of milk. Text 38. It is my duty to give protection and safety to all living entities struggling for existence. Certainly it is the duty of the Master to protect his suffering dependents. Text 39. People in general, being bewildered by the illusory energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, are always engaged in animosity toward one another. But devotees, even at the risk of their own temporary lives, try to save them. I shall repeat this first, unless there's any objections in the assembled sages. Okay. People in general, being bewildered by the illusory energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, are always engaged in animosity toward one another. But devotees, even at the risk of their own temporary lives, try to save them. That's the way into the heart of Lord Chaitanya. Purport. This is the characteristic of a Vaishnava. Paradukha dukhi. A Vaishnava is always unhappy to see the conditioned souls unhappy. Otherwise, he would have no business teaching them how to become happy. In materialistic life, people must certainly engage in activities of animosity. Materialistic life is therefore compared to samsara davanala, a blazing forest fire that automatically takes place. Lord Shiva and his followers in the parampara system try to save people from this dangerous condition of materialistic life. This is the duty of devotees following the principles of Lord Shiva and belonging to the Rudra Sampradaya. There are 4 Vaishnava Sampradayas, and the Rudra Sampradaya is one of them, because Lord Shiva, Rudra, is the best of the Vaishnavas, Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambhu. Indeed, as we shall see, Lord Shiva drank all the poison for the benefit of humanity. Text 40. My dear gentle wife, Bhavani, when one performs benevolent activities for others, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, is very pleased. And when the Lord is pleased, I am also pleased, along with all other living creatures. Therefore, let me drink this poison, for all the living entities may thus become happy because of me. Text 41. Srila Shukadeva Goswami continued, after informing Bhavani in this way, Lord Shiva began to drink the poison. And Bhavani, who knew perfectly well the capabilities of Lord Shiva, gave him her permission to do so. Even Lord Shiva is controlled by his wife. It's okay, dear, you can do that. I know nothing will happen. It's okay. Text 42. Thereafter, Lord Shiva, who is dedicated to auspicious, benevolent work for humanity, compassionately took the whole quantity of poison in his palm and drank it. Purport. Although there was such a great quantity of poison that it spread all over the universe, Lord Shiva had such great power that he reduced the poison to a small quantity so that he could hold it in his palm. One should not try to imitate Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva can do whatever he likes, but those who try to imitate Lord Shiva by smoking ganja and other poisonous things will certainly be killed because of such activities. Text 43. As if in defamation, the poison born from the ocean of milk manifested its potency by marking Lord Shiva's neck with a bluish line. That line, however, is now accepted as an ornament of the Lord. Text 44. It is said that great personalities almost always accept voluntary suffering because of the suffering of people in general. This is considered the highest method of worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is present in everyone's heart. This is an extremely important verse. I'm going to say the Sanskrit. Tapyante lokatapena sadava prayasho janaha paramaradanam taddi purushasya kilatmanaha. Tapyante, voluntarily suffer. Lokatapena, because of the suffering of people in general. Sadhava, saintly persons. Prayasha, almost always. Janaha, such persons. Parama aradhanam, the topmost method of worshipping. Tat, that, activity. He, indeed, Purushasya, of the Supreme Person. Akila Atmana, who is the super soul of everyone. Translation again. It is said that great personalities almost always accept voluntary suffering because of the suffering of people in general. This is considered the highest method of worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is present in everyone's heart. Purport. Here is an explanation of how those engaged in activities for the welfare of others are very quickly recognized by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 18:68-69, Ya'idam paramam guyam madbhakte shabidasyati nachatasman manusheshu kaschin me priyakrita maha. One who preaches the message of Bhagavad Gita to my devotees is most dear to me. No one can excel him in satisfying me by worship. There are different kinds of welfare activities in this material world, but the supreme welfare activity is the spreading of Krishna consciousness. Other welfare activities cannot be effective, for the laws of nature and the results of karma cannot be checked. It is by destiny or the laws of karma that one must suffer or enjoy. For instance, if one is given a court order, he must accept it, whether it brings suffering or profit. Similarly, everyone is under obligations to karma and its reactions. No one can change this. Therefore the Shastra says, Tasyaiva heto prayateta kovido nalabhyate yad brahmatam uparyadaha. Bhagavatam 1.5.18. One should endeavor for that which is never obtained by wandering up and down the universe as a result of the reactions of karma. What is that? One should endeavor to become Krishna conscious. If one tries to spread Krishna consciousness all over the world, he should be understood to be performing the best welfare activity. The Lord is automatically very pleased with him. If the Lord is pleased with him, what is left for him to achieve? If one has been recognized by the Lord, even if he does not ask the Lord for anything, the Lord, who is within everyone, supplies him whatever he wants. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Tesham nitya biyuktanam yogak chemam vahamyaham. Again, as stated here, Japante lokatapena sadhava prayasho janaha. The best welfare activity is raising people to the platform of Krishna consciousness. Since the conditioned souls are suffering only for want of Krishna consciousness, the Lord himself also comes to mitigate the suffering of humanity. Yada yada hi dharmasya kalanir bhavati bharata abhyutanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chaduskritam dharma sanstapanartaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharat, and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself to deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to re-establish the principles of religion. I myself appear millennium after millennium. Bhagavad Gita 4, 7 and 8. All the Shastras conclude, therefore, that spreading the Krishna consciousness movement is the best welfare activity in the world, because of the ultimate benefit this bestows upon people in general. The Lord very quickly recognizes such service performed by a devotee. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. I'll stop there. It's 7:30. One more page. Let's do it. Thank you. Text 45. Upon hearing of this act, everyone, including Bhavani, the daughter of Maharaj Daksha, Lord Brahma, Lord Vishnu, and the people in general, very highly praised this deed performed by Lord Shiva, who is worshipped by the demigods and who bestows benedictions upon the people. Text 46. Scorpions, cobras, poisonous drugs, and other animals whose bites are poisonous took the opportunity to drink whatever little poison had fallen and scattered from Lord Shiva's hand while he was drinking. Purport. Mosquitoes, jackals, dogs, and other varieties of dandashuka, or animals whose bites are poisonous, drank the poison of the Samudra Mantana, the churned ocean, since it was available after it fell from the palms of Lord Shiva. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 8th canto, 7th chapter of Srimad-Bhagavatam, entitled Lord Shiva Saves the Universe by Drinking Poison. Okay, another act of the drama has gone under the... No one can take it back. We have participated in the hearing of the drinking of poison by Lord Shiva, the all-auspicious act, and the purports which admonish us to work for the welfare of others, to help relieve the suffering of others. That's the highest welfare work that one can do. And that highest welfare work is to spread the Krishna consciousness movement, because all of the anomalies are going on in the world. If the world could become fully Krishna conscious, which is not an easy thing to do, that would be the ultimate benediction for all human society. Hare Krishna. Okay. Open mic. It's all yours, kids. Yes, please.
Sure, the question.
Where it says,
This is Kelly.
where it says, is it said that great personalities almost always accept voluntary suffering because of the suffering of people in general? Could you explain that, like further, like an example?
Jesus Christ. Haridas Thakur. And innumerable others.
Okay, so
When you become Krishna conscious and you actually take it up and you go out there, you'll find out. Your family members will say you're crazy. You know, when you go through the border, some people think, you know, what is this? Where are you from? I've had that happen to me. Anyway, it's like that because, you know, first of all, nothing of any real value or an attainment in the material world which is exalted or laudable or good for everyone can be done without doing severe austerity. Everyone knows it. And everyone has a different capacity. But within our capacity, everyone knows it. That if you want to do something really exalted, you have to put up with a lot of, let's just say, pushback. Let's put it that way. That's what it means. Srila Prabhupada, the classic example is our founder Acharya, on the order of his spiritual master who advised him the first words out of his mouth. And he was at the time 26 years old. And he met his spiritual master on the roof of a flat in Calcutta. And a friend of his was trying to get him to go there. And he was hesitant because he had seen so many sadhus. In India you see sadhus, they're like on every street corner and they're saying they're God and they're this and they're that and the other thing. So his father was a very pious man. And he would always bring whatever, so-called saintly person, because in India, because everybody knows how to treat a saintly person, they'll dress up like a saintly person during the day, and then during the night they go back to whatever their place is, and so it's like a profession. So Prabhupada, when he was growing up, he had seen so many of those kinds of people, and he said, I'm not interested in a saintly person. He was a Gandhiite at that time. He was following Gandhi. And he was dressed in white cutty, and he looked like the Gandhiites. But anyway, his friend was just insisted, so he said, all right, I'll go, gives his friend. So he went there, and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he looked at him and he said, you're an educated young man, why don't you go to the West and preach this Krishna consciousness movement for the benefit of, it'll do good for you, and it'll do good for everyone else. Prabhupada looked at him, he couldn't believe his ears. First time he ever met the person, and he's giving him his, his order. And of course, Prabhupada, because he was very intelligent and he was very dedicated to Gandhi, and that meant politically he was a little bit of a revolutionary, but passive revolutionary. So he argued, He said, yeah, we're being occupied by the British, and nobody will take us seriously. So first of all, we have to become independent, and then people will listen to us. And then there was an argument, and Prabhupada was soundly defeated, which was not an easy thing to do. And those of us who know him, just how determined he was and how intelligent he was. And he didn't do that right away, but he took that order into his heart. And as a result of that, Krishna, in his heart and in the hearts of everyone around him, it looked like he was going to become a big success, but his businesses all failed, even though he was so expert. It was all Krishna's arrangement. And after a while, and this is what happens, family members kind of stopped giving him respect, and he found himself alone. And he went to Vrindavan, and he lived there for 9 years without a penny. He didn't even have barely a cloth on his body. And during that time, he single-handedly, without any computers, without any printers or anything, he did everything. He had this old mechanical typewriter type, and he typed out the first 3 volumes, the first canto of this Srimad-Bhagavatam by himself, and took it to Delhi, and little by little scratched and saved, and all the time lived in Vrindavan like a mendicant. And when he got those 3 volumes ready, and by this time he was 69 years old. He was 26 to 69. It took him all those years to prepare himself. And then even when he went to Delhi, he got gored by a cow and left on the street. And Delhi is very hot. very difficult. The austerities he went through was unbelievable. But he did that just for this reason. Just because he could see the suffering of others. Unless you're free from suffering, you can't see how other people are suffering. That's why we want to advance in Krishna consciousness, not for ourselves, but so that we can actually see the sufferings of others, feel deep compassion enough to dedicate ourselves to this activity, this prime activity of spreading knowledge, spiritual knowledge. Due to a lack of spiritual education, the whole human society now is in chaos. They don't know how to act. You have the top people in the world saying most crazy things. I won't get into the details in public. And then, when Krishna tested him, and he was tested big time, suffered like anything, he came over on a boat, free. He got a free ticket, steamship. And on the way, he had 2 heart attacks. He almost left his body. And he told us that at one point, when he thought, one more and I'm out, and my mission is finished. And the captain of the ship said that the crossing of the Atlantic, because he had those before he got to the Atlantic, he went on the other side of India, around Comoran, around Lanka, and around Ceylon, and finally into the Atlantic Ocean. And the Atlantic Ocean turned out to be just like a placid. There was no waves, nothing. And Krishna came to him in a dream. And in the dream, Krishna put him on a boat. And he said, all right, let's go. And we want you to do this. And then he came to America. And by the time he got to America, he was 70. He left in 69, and he was 70 by the time he got to America. And in 12 years, he went around the earth 14 times. And the first year, nobody came. He was living in New York City, never been out of India in his life. You've been to India? No. Yeah, you cannot imagine the difference in the culture. The cultural constraints and obstacles that he had to cross over. And he went to, Lower East Side, New York, 1965, right? I mean, we were all pretty crazy in those days, Still are. But anyway, he knew exactly what to say. He was a 70-year-old aristocratic, Vaishnava saint. So aristocratic, so knowledgeable, so cultured. He made us look like Gauri Krishna. That was my best friend, who was one of the most empowered preachers in the world today, my godbrother. So when Prabhupada was tested, after a whole year of living, he brought 3 trunks of books with him. That's all he had. And a bag of granola. That's it. That's all he had, yeah. And when Krishna tested him, when he was actually tested, then Krishna started giving him things. Devotees started to come, disciples, money started to come. In that 12 years since then, when he left in 1977, he went around the world 14 times. He, in addition to the 3 volumes he brought with him, he wrote another, 70 books. Initiated 5,000 disciples, trained them, established exactly 108 centers, exactly to the day, to the number of temples and farm communities and restaurants. And there was an article written in Newsweek magazine many years ago. It was called Late Bloomers. And it analyzed, they picked 5 men well, I think 5 men, I don't know if even 5 men and women, who had done the most service for humanity after a certain age. I think it was 60 was the line. And Prabhupada was after 70, so they gave him special kudos, you know. And that's it, and here we are. Now it's so many years later, and now we have 800 centers or something like that. And here we are in Houston, Texas, reading his books and getting knowledge that is capable of delivering us from ignorance and giving us spiritual taste and eventually the ticket to go back to the spiritual world when we leave our bodies, which, by the way, hardly anyone knows about. So that's a classic example. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Jai Shri Devi Das. So, dear Guru
Jai
Maharaj.
Shri, she's coming here soon. Haribol Jai Shri, she's in Hong Kong.
Dear Guru Maharaj, please
Coming
accept
next
my...
Friday she's coming.
Hmm.
Not this Friday, next Friday.
Please accept my humble obeisances, and all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Jai Ho.
It is very interesting to see all the demigods offered prayers to Lord Shiva with the motive that Lord Shiva will help to handle the hala hala poison instead of asking Lord Vishnu for help. Is there a particular reason that the demigods asking Lord Shiva instead of Lord Vishnu? Is this part of the Leela such that his wonderful servant like Lord Shiva can be glorified?
I need to hear
Your
that
servant.
again because I'm answering something.
Okay. The whole thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry about that. I'm writing budgets you could be going at. Okay.
Okay, you ready?
I'm sorry. Yeah.
It is very interesting to see all the demigods offered prayers to Lord Shiva with the motive that Lord Shiva will help to handle the hala hala poison instead of asking Lord Vishnu for help. Is there a particular reason that the demigods asking Lord Shiva instead of Lord Vishnu? Is this part of the Leela such that his wonderful servant like Lord Shiva can be glorified? Your servant, Jayashri Devi Das.
Well, we just heard the reason. All I can do is ask you to reread the chapter very carefully, because in the purports, let's have Prana explain. Sarva Prana, somebody, anybody.
Did it explain something about the material world and the spiritual world?
It was something about the spiritual world and the material world, definitely. No, see, the thing is, Lord Shiva is an extremely complicated and difficult person to understand. Vishnu has two aspects. One is the ingredient cause and the efficient cause. These are the two aspects of Lord Vishnu. The ingredient cause, he from his own self, all the ingredients of the material energy is given, and the actual function, the actual efficient cause is Vishnu. So Sada Shiva is the aspect of Lord Vishnu that is the efficient cause. And he enters through his glance. And through that glance, he touches the material energy. There's intercourse, actually, between him and the personified material energy, which is female, Durga. And then all the living entities are injected into the material cosmic manifestation simultaneously. So because he touches the material energy and Vishnu doesn't ever touch the material energy, but in his aspect of the efficient cause as Sadashiva, he touches the material energy. Therefore, he's not a jiva and he's not Vishnu Tattva either. He's in between. Unique person. Only one. He's had many expansions. He has many expansions to perform his duties. And he becomes the qualitative incarnation to annihilate things. Like when a fire breaks out and everybody becomes destroyed, or your body is disintegrating like it does after you, it always does, but especially after you're 60. That's Shiva. Anything when you put a fruit on the table and it rots, that's Shiva. So because that's an aspect, that's the aspect of Shiva that does those things, all they went to him to do that, because that's his specialization. It's like Lord Shiva's he specializes in things like that. See? So even Vishnu sometimes, worships Lord Shiva as a performer of activities that no one else can perform. Therefore, even Vishnu went with the demigods to ask Shiva to do something. Because Lord Shiva is so kind. Vaishnavamam yadakshambhu. This is all contained in a couple of purports. If you reread those purports, you can get it again and fix it in your minds. Therefore, we should never disrespect Lord Shiva. But at the same time, we can't worship Lord Shiva as the same as Lord Vishnu either, because he is subordinate to Vishnu, because he touches the material energy. He's like yogurt and milk.
You're gonna do this again?
No, I didn't even mean to start it up again. No, we're doing good. So, milk, if you touch it with tamarind or some kind of, acidic, then it turns into yogurt. And you can't make it back. Anybody who's cooked knows. You can't put once it turns into yogurt, you can't put it back into milk. And you can't do something that you can do with milk with yogurt and vice versa. So it's different, but at the same time, it's just milk. That's Lord Shiva. Yes, Sarva, our local saint, is going to speak and enlighten us further. Either that or get us into another controversy. It's his nature. You can't help it. Go ahead.
It seems like Lord Shiva performs a function like a spiritual master, that he's very compassionate. He takes the karma, he takes the poison from the ocean, and he gets this blue mark on his throat. So it's described in our scriptures that when a spiritual master takes a disciple, he takes some of his sinful reactions.
When he initiates them.
When he initiates them, yes.
Yeah.
Can you comment on that?
Do I comment on it? Yeah. Lord Shiva has the capacity to give liberation. Only Lord Vishnu or Krishna and Lord Shiva can give liberation. So you can say that he acts as a spiritual master, but it's special because he's the qualitative incarnation in control of the mode of ignorance. He's not in ignorance, but he's in control of the mode of ignorance, and therefore he sometimes contacts the mode of ignorance. And therefore those persons who are the lowest denominator in the universe, those who are in mode of ignorance, they naturally take shelter of him, and he naturally feels compassionate towards them. But generally speaking, those people who worship Lord Shiva, they go to the Brahmajyoti. They generally don't go to Goloka Vrindavan or to the Vaikuntha planets. Lord, who was it? Yeah, Ravana. He was a devotee of Lord Shiva. Demons take shelter of Lord Shiva. So it's true, and we have to be very, very careful in this subject matter because we don't want to make offense against anybody. But at the same time, it is an offense. I mean, Brihad Bhagavatamrita, Sanatana Goswami makes a very profound statement. What is the second offense? Would someone like to recite the second offense against the holy name of the Lord, please, for our edification? I'm testing them. Go ahead. What?
To consider the names of demigods of Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the names of Lord Shiva.
Equal to or independent of. So those are two aspects. And Srila Prabhupada, in order to help us, he emphasized the one aspect, not equal to. So therefore it's an offense to consider Lord Shiva or any of the demigods, and Lord Shiva is the top demigod, to be equal to Lord Vishnu. If you worship him as Vishnu, then you're committing an offense. But at the same time, Lord Sanatana Goswami says, independent of means he's also an expansion of Lord Vishnu, who touches the material energy. Therefore he's unique, and he's higher than all the other living entities, and therefore you don't want to make an offense to him either. Because he gets that from Vishnu.
Left a comment.
Okay, we got 2 more minutes because I'm not going to stay here until till late tonight. I've got to get up and do my recordings tomorrow morning for sure. I didn't get them done today. Okay.
Right. Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. We have heard that a spiritual master is willing to take birth again and again to deliver each and every disciple. It sounds beautiful, but also a bit inconceivable. How are we to understand this statement?
Well, therefore, Prabhupada said, don't make me come back again and deliver you, so don't take advantage of that situation and do nonsense and think that that's going to make me happy. And also, it isn't necessarily that soul comes again and again and again. Can, but in the spiritual world, the spiritual master is among many liberated souls, and he can send a representative to come and take you. He has to personally come also. That was also stated by Prabhupada. But the main thing is, don't take advantage of that and just goof off and think that your spiritual master is going to come back. Make the spiritual master come back again in the material world. Forget it. So some of these statements they're poetic ways of expressing something. The eternal relationship between the spiritual master and the disciple. And us conditioned souls want to take advantage of that and get something for nothing. You want to exploit the situation and get a few more lifetimes in there, squeeze out a little bit more power and control and enjoyment before we go back to the spiritual world, thinking this is complete ignorance. Because in the spiritual world there's nothing but knowledge and bliss and eternity and love, which we're all looking for. You can't get it anywhere except there. Not really. So it may be true. It's possible that the spiritual master could do that. But that doesn't mean he's necessarily going to, or that he wants you to. Definitely doesn't want you to. Definitely. And that is for an ever liberated, spiritual master also. A person can be spiritual master acting in the capacity of a Kanishta or a Madhyam or an Uttamadhikari. And generally, devotees who are in a lower position will take, shelter of a spiritual master who is in a higher position. But they're not necessarily in the position of, being able to do that, come back life after life. And another person may end up being that. You may take initiation from one person, and later on, another devotee may become your life and soul as your Shiksha Guru. Bhaktivinoda Thakur was initiated by Bipina Goswami, and later on he took shelter of Jagannath Das Babaji. He wasn't his initiating guru.
She says, thank you.
You're entirely welcome. And with that, it's 8:01, and we're going to...
One quick question. I said the mountain rested on the back of the great tortoise, which extended for 800,000 miles, like a large island. So this tortoise, as the Lord is, the tortoise is extended 800,000 miles.
Yes.
Okay.
She's checking just to make sure she read it right. Yes, you read it right. And that's even just a little speck in the universe. Okay, thank you everyone. All glories to Lord Shiva for saving us all from the halahala poison, and all glories to the Srimad-Bhagavatam, and all glories to the sages who come together every day and hear the Srimad-Bhagavatam and taste the nectar as opposed to the poison. Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol. See you tomorrow night, same time, same station, same place. Hare Krishna.